Hello, Crypters. Before we get started, at the very top of the show notes, there is a GoFundMe link. That is not for me. That is for a community in Pennsylvania that really needs your help for some educational purposes. To put it simply, as their GoFundMe page says, what will your money be primarily going towards? A large event tent to enable us to pop up classes and play events and not be completely restricted by venue size and layout, printing costs, signage, flyers, and of course, swag. They are trying to do some good things and some outreach work. If you could, whether it's $1 or meet their goal with donating $2,000, please help them out. Again, that link is at the very top of the show notes. And with that said, let's jump into it.
Welcome to my dungeon.
Welcome to Cauldron's Crypt. I'm your host, Master Cauldron. If you're new to the show, I use my 24 years of BDSM experience and 20 years working in the psychology field to dispel myths, get rid of stereotypes, and answer your questions about BDSM. You can call in at 865-268-4005 to leave your questions or visit the crypt at cauldronscrypt.com. On this episode of The Crypt, it's back to DomCon LA 2019 for a really cool conversation with Sir Pent, where we talk about consensual breast torture and several extremely well-stated pieces of advice. So let's hit those rules to love by and jump into the conversation. Rule number 1, safe, sane, consensual, and informed. Rule number 2, kinky, that's KNKI, and comes from the Kinky app, available on all platforms, not a sponsor, but it does stand for knowledge, no intolerance, kindness, and integrity. And rule number 3, the quote from Mr. Paul Young, submission is not about authority and it's not about obedience. It is all about relationships of love and respect. It is Sunday, Mother's Day at DomCon Los Angeles 2019. I am here with Sir Pent. Welcome to the Crypt.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let's get the basics out of the way. How long have you been a kinky
Well, like most stories, it started way young when I was, 12, 14, stuff like that. I always knew there was something a little off, but publicly in the lifestyle, I've been in the lifestyle since I was 21.
And you're how old now?
I'm 29 now.
29?
So just over, right around 8 years.
Right around 8 years. Now, what are some of your most favoritist things?
Oh, favoritist things. I think the best stories are when things don't go according to plan, whether it's in the scene or you're setting up, or a booth at DomCon or you're doing this or doing that, and things don't go according to plan and you're able to just laugh about it, or maybe not laugh about it at the time, but you're able to laugh about it next week. Those usually make for the best stories.
When what too soon applies. So a little birdie has told me that you're kind of an expert when it comes to breast torture.
Oh, well, I wouldn't go as far as expert, but I definitely like breast torture. And that's actually one of the funny stories that I was just talking about, where a scene doesn't quite go according to plan. And then I stumble into one of my favorite fetishes of all time now, which is breast torture.
Wow. So how did it not go according to plan? Let's dive into that. Let's unpack that a little bit, as they say.
Well, about 2.5 years ago, we were playing at Marketplace at Sanctuary LAX, and we had this whole scene. Me and my past sub, we were planning out this whole scene to do back and butt, and we were going to use floggers and paddles and the single tails, and we had this whole scene planned out, and it was for our biggest audience at that time, so we were a little nervous. And right as we were coming up onto the stage, somebody came up to her and said, "Wow, you have amazing breasts." She goes, "Thank you." And he goes, "Are you going to do a breast torture scene?" "Yep, that's what I'm going to do." And instantly, that's what we were going to do. So the entire scene, which turned out to be one of my favorite scenes of all time, was 100% improv, no planning, no scheduling, just, nope, this is what we're going to do.
This just happens to be the thing for the day. So that just fired something up in you. And where did it go from there? Was there educational classes, books, or just trial and error?
Unfortunately, there's not many classes that I've seen on it. I've thought about teaching a class on it because I don't see many classes out there for breast torture, but I did do a lot of research online, and I did talk to a couple physicians and doctors to find out what their take on it was, such as breast cancer is a thing. Let's not hit your breast to a point where they're not going to heal or will cause you breast cancer later on in the future. So, unfortunately, for my first scene, and I know this is bad to admit, but for my first scene, I didn't go into it with a whole bunch of research. But from that, I did a whole bunch of research, and I just fell in love with breast torture. It's honestly one of my favorite fetishes.
Well, let's talk about some of those safety issues. This is a 101 show, so let's do some teaching if you don't mind.
Of course, yeah. All right, so one of the things that we're going to look for, one of the main things for post a breast torture scene for the aftermath is blood clotting. And blood clotting will feel like calcium buildup or little lumps inside of the breast. A lot of people that feel this for the first time instantly freak out and assume they have breast cancer because it feels exactly like they've been told this should feel like. I can't tell you it's not breast cancer, but for what you're experiencing is probably some sort of blood clot, which is bruising. It happens. And the way to get rid of that blood clotting is normally cupping or fire cupping, and it breaks up that calcium buildup or the bruising. In doing so, it pulls it away from all the membrane. So you have to keep up on that. There's a lot of, you might have to do this multiple times after the scene. On top of that, another way to get rid of it if you're not experienced in cupping or don't have a set of cups is just a simple massage, a deep tissue massage. So after I do a breast torture scene, 3 or 4 days later, I get to play with my sub again, and I get to play with her boobs and massage them, and I kind of get my own little thing going on there.
That's nice. Now, the two ladies sitting with you, what's the dynamic here?
They are both my submissives.
Okay. And do both of them enjoy this type of torture?
Well, so Flair over here, she's been in the lifestyle for about 11 months now, and I'm teaching her everything that she needs to know to be a part of my household. And she very much loves breast torture. She did her first heavy breast torture scene 2 days ago, and she still has bruises.
And that is absolutely beautiful. Wow.
So
first time I've said that about someone's breast and not felt like a dirty old man for doing it. Because everybody knows I love the pretties.
Oh, yes. And she discovered that she actually loves them, which works out well since I'm so into them. My other sub, Solar, she doesn't do breast torture quite the same. It's mostly because her boobs are fake. So a lot of her breast torture scenes are going to include single tails, not so much of the paddles, because we don't know what kind of pressure will pop those things. And my rule is if you break it, you bought it, and I can't afford it. So I'm not going to break them.
Yeah, that would concern me a great deal. So, and these are things that people just getting into it necessarily won't think about. They're like, well, people can get on airplanes or
people can get on airplanes, but I've never been on an airplane and someone starts smacking me with a paddle. So
yeah.
it is very different. Yes, altitude's a thing, but they keep that cabin pressurized. It's pretty close to what it is down here on the ground.
Right.
You could do a lot with, fake tatas nowadays, but hitting them with a paddle, you still have to be careful with that. Canes are okay, single tails are okay, floggers are okay, but what leaves breast torture marks the best are paddles, and unfortunately, you got to be kind of wary of that with fake boobs.
Right. Okay. Well, let's, since we're talking about the group here.
Yeah.
The patch, and it may not have anything to do with it because, to be honest, I haven't really perved your patch on the back of your vest. Obviously, I'm consider myself a bit of a leatherman. But what is the patch for that you have on your back?
Okay, so the patch is a discotillion, and it says Sanctuary LAX family. I worked very, very hard for a very, very long time to get this patch. It is a member of the Sanctuary family, Sanctuary LAX with Mistress Cyan, which is the world's largest pro dungeon in it's either the world's largest or United States' largest pro dungeon.
Okay. So that's a lot of commitment to the lifestyle.
It's a lot of trying to help out and teach, and me just wearing the patch. Yes, it took a lot of hard work to get it. I taught classes. I was on stage. I set up DomCon. I broke down NomCon, set up AVN, things like that. But wearing the patch, I find actually has more weight than actually getting the patch itself, because now I'm representing Sanctuary. So when I do something, I have to keep in mind that I'm representing an entire family, a family that I love, and I have to show that I'm doing the right thing at all times.
It's kind of like Master Gabriel said when he presented Now Master Gear with his cover. It's earning the right to continue wearing.
Yes, very much so. Every day that I put on my my cut, my vest, and my and it has the patch on the back, I know that I have to represent it. And at any time, if I feel that I'm not deserving of it, I will actually take off my vest. I will take off my cut and go somewhere, regroup, and then put my vest back on.
That's an admirable trait that people need to really pick up on and consider. My house motto is respect above all else.
That's beautiful.
And that covers, that is all encompassing. If you respect someone, you're not going to steal from them, lie to them, cheat them in any way. And that includes yourself, first and foremost.
First step to mastering, and Master Gabriel is actually my mentor. And he's the one who really instilled this into me, is the first step into mastering is to master yourself. Yes. You must master yourself and be able to control yourself, know your skill, know your worth before you can ever start taking on somebody else.
Getting into a lot of emotional intelligence.
Yes.
I'm sure he's talked about that a lot.
Yes. But back to the patch, it's not just the patch. My girls in my tribe, of my household, we flag pink. Pink is also breast torture, but it goes deeper than that with us. We flag pink because it represents our tribe. If you see a girl with a pink bandana around her leg, you know that she's probably tribe of Pent. And they do the same thing. They have bad days just like everybody else. And they will tell me, hey, I need to take off the bandana. I need to stop flagging for a minute. I need to go regroup. I'm not representing you the way I need to. And they'll do that. They'll take 10, 15, 20 minutes. They'll go meditate. They'll go have a smoke. They'll do whatever they need to. And then they come back and put the bandana back on.
Wow. That is just awesome. Again, listen closely, crypters, to what is being said. It's self-awareness is key. So we've gotten into the beautiful side of household. We've talked about some pretties, which I see both of you do have some pretties in reference to the ladies and the lady bits. But what other enjoyments, like besides the kink itself, which is what all the newbies that I talk to think that it's all about, as a lifestyler, as someone who lives this every day, how would you define it? What does it mean to you personally?
This is a family. They are my support system. Hate to throw Flair under the bus over here, but last night she was having a very hard time, and she was having a hard time realizing why she had her pinks, why she had her pink bandana, and was kind of just feeling down on herself. And Solar went out and started talking to her and really was trying to find the deeper meaning. And then I come up, and at the end of the conversation, we realized that not only was Flair feeling it, we were all feeling it. It's part of con drop. We're at con, emotions are going everywhere. But we were all feeling our lack of worth. And by the end of it, the three of us are hugging and feeling that family. It's so much more than a lifestyle. If it was just hitting somebody or the fetish or the kinky or the sex, I can find somebody for that. The family aspect, that is so much different. That is meaningful. That is solid. That's a rock. And I hate to throw vanillas under the bus over here, but I say it in my classes, DS relationships are so much stronger than vanilla because we get each other on so much deeper emotional levels. I can read their mind before they tell me something. I know what they're feeling. I know if I ask what's wrong, they're going to say I don't know, and I know it's a lie. I know these girls, I know my tribe, I know my family better here than I ever did out in the vanilla world.
To back that up, studies are being done as far as kinky marriages and divorce rates with vanilla. And because of the open and honest communication, that everybody should do. The house motto, respect above all else, is closely followed by the funny saying of the house, which is nothing's too weird to talk about. Every vanilla couple, when I was part of a vanilla relationship, there was always secrets.
Yes.
Whether it's, well, I masturbated this morning. I'm so scared to let anybody know that I masturbate when everybody does it, or whatever the case may be. But within the house, there are no secrets. And that's why among the vanilla world, the divorce rate is around 51%, while in the kink world, including BDSM and swingers, you're talking about 81% that make it, that have a successful marriage.
I have to think that a good majority of that is not the sole reason. There's multiple different reasons, in my opinion, on why this would be. Is we have an open communication where we're not ashamed of what we're doing. Well, I can't say never, but we're gonna lie less often. We're gonna be open and upfront and honest. But the biggest thing that I see is trust, and that's something that we have that most vanilla couples don't, is we trust that what you say is the truth. What you're feeling is a raw emotion. And then we trust that person that if I share this raw emotion, you're not going to make fun or laugh at me for it or blow it off. But we're going to sit and address this, and we're going to cuddle it out. As Flair likes to say, we're going to cuddle puddle this. And we all get on the bed and, cuddle puddle a little bit. And my feelings when I tell them something, look, I'm feeling this today and I don't know why. They're going to take it for the weight that I want them to take it at and make it a serious thing and help me through it.
Right. Yeah, and that there again, trust, respect, open communication. And as far as the trust goes, it's easy to trust somebody when there are no secrets.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's just, you're right. It is definitely a big piece of that puzzle on why these relationships are so meaningful. They matter so much, and why most people, once they experience it, they can't go back to anything else, because why would you?
I've known quite a few people that try to leave the lifestyle for like 6 months, and then they're back and they're like, nope, there's a bunch of crazies out there. I want to be here where it's safe.
Yeah, it's just, I took a break. In 24 years, you're going to take breaks every now and then, but it always brings me back home.
Yeah.
So, is there any one big piece of advice that you have as a standard to what you tell people when they're coming in?
Please, 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 please learn everything you can. Do not go to an event, do not go to a club, and then just automatically start playing on stage in front of everybody you can. Don't try to make a big name for yourself. The name will come in time. Learn everything you can. That way, when you're ready for that name to come to you, you're deserving of the name itself. Learn everything you can. Take as many classes as you can. I still today take 101 classes because it will still remind me of where I came from. It will remind me of something I forgot. Or every so often, I still learn new stuff in 101 classes. This is such an important rule of mine that any sub that's trying to come into my household, they have standards that they have to do, such as they have to learn how to boot black. They, Flair was just asking me the other day, or last night actually, if she can learn how to top and learn how to Florentine and learn how to flog. I am very eager to start teaching her how to do that. She's never going to do it in public, but she just wants that skill. She wants to know how to do that. Both of them know how to clean all my toys, how to clean them properly. They know first aid. It's not just I have to learn how to cane or I have to learn how to paddle. You also have to learn first aid, safety, cleanliness. You have to learn all this stuff. Take as many classes as you can.
Mm-hmm. Well said. What is one warning? Which you kind of, with what you said, you gave a warning, but what would your biggest warning be from your own experience, whether it's to somebody brand new or somebody with a different or more experience than you have?
My biggest warning, and I think a lot of people would agree with me who have been in the lifestyle for a long time, our biggest complaint that we see right now is that subs are going and they're getting hurt from tops and dominance. Be safe about what you're doing. Know the person. Negotiate before you play. And I hate to put people on blast, but when you meet somebody who's 18 and claims he's a master, and I can do everything, and your ex was nothing, and the guy you're gonna have after me is nothing, but I'm the real deal. I'm 18 and I'm a master. Yeah, run as fast as you can away from that person. Okay, run away. No. Okay, mastering, it means that you learned everything you can, and you mastered a subject, or you mastered yourself and others, and you mastered a title. If someone claims that you must call them a master today and they're 18, run away.
And part of that being a master is understanding that the learning never stops.
It doesn't. My mentor, Master Gabriel, I'm going to throw him under the bus. My mentor, Master Gabriel, I was at his house 3 weeks ago, and I was teaching him how to fold bandanas for flagging so he could set up the Hall of Kink, because he doesn't flag, so he doesn't know he doesn't know how to fold it. And I was very honored to teach him. I feel like I was humble. Master Gabriel will correct me if I was wrong. If I wasn't humble, I was trying not to be cocky, but I was teaching him how, and this is somebody who's had his master title for longer than I've been in the scene, and I was teaching him something that I've done since day one, and it just shows. There's no way you know everything.
Yeah.
Keep learning, and not just from people above you. But I love talking to newbies because I love hearing what they know. They're going to teach me something too. And that brings up another point as well. Another piece of advice is don't be going to people's houses unless if you know who they are. No, I'm a master and you're going to come to my house. Don't go to his house. As we tell everybody, fakes don't like events.
Yes.
Because DMs, owners, and VIP people who have been going forever tend to not like fakes and tend to not treat fakes very well. So fakes and people who claim all this stuff, they don't go to events. If you're going to meet somebody for the first time or even the fifth time, meet them at an event. It's a very, very fast way to weed out the fakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's can't be better said than that. That's just so true, and something that I've ran into a lot. I know I met somebody down in Orlando at the Woodshed, which if you've never been to Orlando to the Woodshed, they are an international award-winning tying dungeon. They do a lot of rigging. It's phenomenal. But we were supposed to play when we went there. I was at a podcasting convention, and we were supposed to play, ended up not playing, and afterwards, I'm like, what happened? Because there was this loss. Well, you just didn't flat out tell me to do this. Like that. Yeah, I know. And I don't really know you. This is pretty much pickup play. And I'm not the guy that's going to say, look, get your ass over there right now. It's not going to happen. We haven't negotiated things. I like to do it what I consider the proper way. Yeah, and that was another, she said, well, I would have come back to the hotel with you afterwards, but then you didn't tell me that either. I'm like, 7 years that you've been around, because that was her thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you really should listen to the show.
It makes me worried when people, but it happens. Mistakes happen. No matter how long you've been in the scene, you forget things.
And sometimes that is people's kink.
Yeah.
That is their edge play.
100%. I don't judge it, but I'm not into it, and I'm not going to condone it.
Yeah.
If that's what you're into, your fetish and my fetish don't match up, so we can be friends.
Yeah, I don't endorse it. But there again, play at your own risk. That's where RAC comes from, right? Risk aware consensual kink for the newbies. That a lot of you come in learning safe, sane, and consensual, but There is rack. There's also prick is the latest one. I don't know if you've heard that.
I have not.
Oh God, I can't remember what it stands for, but I'll look it up and send it to you.
Rack. It means that breath play or breast torture play, breast torture play, you do this for 20 years, you could end up with breast cancer. We are risk aware consensual kink. It means that there could be something that messes up in our scene that is going to send it sideways, but we are both aware of it. We are both trying to prepare for it or avoid it, and we're consenting to it.
Yeah. Prick is personal risk involvement something.
Kink?
Yeah,
is kink the last piece?
Yeah, I believe it would be.
There you go.
But yeah, I'll look it up, and because it's kind of funny. But yeah, it's the new one that people are trying to push on the East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an East Coast West Coast thing.
Yeah, I like the rack out here on the West Coast.
Yeah, the racks are nice out here.
I do like racks. I mean, I flag pink. I like the rack.
All right. Well, Sir Pent, thank you so very much. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. I think that you have given some amazing information, some advice for all of these new and old listeners. I know with every person that I've sat down to talk with on the microphone here at DomCon, which is about 15 or 20 people thus far, each person has either reminded me of something or taught me something. And that has certainly been the case with you. I've both learned something and been reminded of something. So,
of course, I'm honored to do that.
I really appreciate your time and the time of your submissives to sit here with you while you talk to me. They seem like good girls.
Am I able to give out a shout out for my Instagram and Twitter?
Yes, I was about to ask you where you want, and I will put links to your information in the show notes, so anybody can swipe left, right, up, or down in your particular podcatcher, click on the links, and visit his Instagram and Twitter, which is
Serpent89, SIRPENT 89. You can find me on FetLife, Instagram, and Twitter.
Well branded and done right.
Yes.
All right. Well, again, thank you, and we will see you around the con.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Don't forget to help out the Northeast Pennsylvania Kink group on FetLife by going to the GoFundMe page at the top of the show notes. Also, if you haven't checked out the bonding experience with Mistress Vega and Lady Katie, that is a YouTube 101 channel directed from the femdom, not Finn, but femdom perspective. There's a link in the show notes there as well. A huge shout out to pro producer LilyxChaosx, executive producers Feline Rouge, Baby Love 2269, Faisal, Jeremiah, Arcane DGR, and Violet Aurelia. Senior producers Matt, Roxy Bear, Emerald Wolf, JK, Sort Out the Kinks, Delilah, Sir Mutual Respect, Master Gabriel, and Theod 123. Producers Kane Sin, That Place in Oklahoma City. That's a dungeon. If you guys haven't checked it out, you really should. The owners there are absolutely amazing. Thank you, Miter, Olive Eyes, Zine, and Alexandria. And then, of course, our junior producers, K2SO, who has been with me since the very beginning. Buffalo Dom 84, another one that's been around for a long time. Leysumi, Haley, Morgan, Not the Daddy, and Rafi. Again, apologies for not pronouncing your name correctly. If you would like to become one of our show producers, if you're getting anything out of this, please help us out here. Keep the lights on at the crypt. The link is in the show notes. BDSM contracts, if you haven't checked them out by now, what are you doing? BDSMcontracts.org. Use coupon code Cauldron20, that's KULDRIN20 for a 20% discount on all purchases. Daycollars.com, a place for personalized handmade collars, leashes, cuffs, and belts. Whipping Stripes, my personal maker of all things leather and paracord impact toys. That is at whippingstripes.com. And Torrid Timber, phenomenal crafted devices there. Speaking of breast torture, he has some amazing breast tumblers, has some man torture devices as well. Highly recommend checking out what he has at torridtimber.com. None of these people that I've spoke of are sponsors for the show. They are people that I know, like, use, and trust. Next time on The Crypt, not particularly certain what I'm going to talk about. All of my contact information is in the show notes. This has been Master Cauldron and Sir Pent for CauldronsCrypt.com. Unearth the truth.